Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is a special board meeting to certify the levy. We'll call the meeting to order and take roll call.
Strom, Bush,
Here.
Dunn,
Here.
Harris,
Here.
Eisner,
Here.
Johnston,
Here.
Spalding.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum, so we can proceed. Mr. Wainwright, do you want to introduce the budget for 25-26?
So before you have a single sheet, it's 3 columns. It's historical data, current year data as in 24-25, and then our budget year 25-26. So that's the column we will be looking at. We give you the anticipated revenues coming in at $12,916,116. We have a breakout of expenditures. Our total expenditures are $13,079,420. So as we had talked about in committee and at a previous board meeting, we're looking at a budget deficit this year of $163,303. This meets kind of the criteria we have talked through at budget meetings and at a previous board meeting where we're maintaining the fund balance at 20%. We believe we have some additional revenues. Typically, we have had in the neighborhood of $100,000 coming in Medicare reimbursement that comes usually mid to end of June. So that would wipe out $100,000 of this deficit. And then the special ed reimbursement rate is set at 42%. We have not received the total reimbursement rate that has come in the budget. It's usually been a little bit less. But if we come in at 38% special ed reimbursement, that would mean a smaller transfer from Fund 10 to Fund 27. In other words, it would give us some additional revenue that would offset that budget. So we really feel, knowing this, that we'll have a balanced budget, maybe even a small surplus at the end of this fiscal year.
So this isn't dipping into the referendum funding that we.
It would use $275,000 in that referendum monies. We had anticipated a much larger share.
Right.
When we went to referendum, we picked up $150,000 in transfer services. So special ed services coming in, that's $150,000. We weren't anticipating the increase in special ed reimbursement from the state. We had no idea that was coming. So that's an additional revenue source. They changed the reimbursement rate for open enrollment. So that has created an additional source of revenue because our open enrollment numbers are, don't quote me, I want to say 107 in this year. So we picked up a few more students. And because we had those other students in there, we're getting a little bit more in reimbursement for the students that we currently have. So there were some other revenue sources. So we knew we didn't need to use as much out of the referendum monies, which in the long run, if things maintain the status quo, gives us some more years down the road of being able to utilize those referendum dollars.
So I think you said 275 is against the referendum. Was the 26, 27 number that we had, that when we were in the planning phases of the referendum, was that 500,000 or was it 300?
No, we were looking at 7, and then I want to say it was 2 something, maybe 2.25
Okay,
for the next year out.
okay.
So, you know, if that all holds as is, like I said, the additional money that we were anticipating needing to use in this budget cycle just gets added on the back end of our budget cycle. So yes, we're We know right now there'll be another $325 per pupil added into next year.
Mhm.
And if we need to use 200,000, 275 we're getting this year increases our per pupil reimbursement. So then it gets layered into the next year as well. So we'll see a little bit bigger increase again next year in our per pupil reimbursement from the state because of our ongoing referendum.
Are the referendum dollars included under the revenue category property tax at the top?
Yes.
Why do, so if we're taking 275 from the referendum, we come to this deficit of 163. And we're saying we're taking this out of fund balance, right? Why do we do that? Is it just to maintain the ratio at 20%?
That was one of the driving factors, was to maintain the fund balance rate at 20%.
Yeah.
We don't feel we're taking it out of fund balance. We feel that there will be this additional revenue
Got it, right,
that
sorry.
will erase
Yeah.
that budget deficit.
Right.
The Medicaid reimbursement will be a check for $100,000.
Okay.
That,
So,
That'll cut that.
so it might be around zero.
correct. We're anticipating it to be zero by the time we get to June 30 next year.
Right,
And that way we're not overtaxing if the money doesn't come in.
Correct.
Correct.
got it. But still maintaining that ratio.
Yes.
Well, it looks good.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the 25-26 budget as presented.
Moved.
Ms. Skelding, any other comments, questions, discussion?
Comment I always make is it's really helpful. The committee meetings, I think, help me continuously understand, because I might understand it for a minute and then I lose track of some of the details, like the question you just asked, Will. So I really appreciate that we have committee meetings, committee meeting notes, things like that. Help anchor, because it does get complicated quickly.
And I'll just say, I remember I think one of my first meetings was a budget meeting. And it was this massive spreadsheet up on the screen. So to have this like in a, concise piece of paper, line items and comparable is, I think, of beauty.
It does make me think for like onboarding, this is aside, I'm derailing for just a second, that for onboarding, we should do like a little description for each one of these expenditure codes. These don't even have the code. Yeah, they do. Transfer to Fund 27. There's just some, like, we now know what these codes mean, but it's not obvious. And maybe the public would find that useful too. I don't know. But at least for onboarding board members. I know.
I want to say it's in the orientation handbook that WASB provides. There's like a glossary of
It
funds,
might
but
be.
yeah, I mean, that would, if it's not, then that would be something that like Mr. Wainwright, the superintendent, would cover during an onboarding meeting, like, hey, it's
And
like
that's probably how it should be. Yeah.
finance 101, that's budget 101, I think. Yeah, no,
There.
but good point. Yeah, no, it takes a while for it to sink in for sure. Okay, any other discussion on this motion? Did you call a question?
Harris,
Yes.
Eisner,
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Skelding,
Yes.
Bergstrom.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Next, I will take a motion to certify the tax levy. Mr. Wright, do you want to introduce that at all?
Sure. The tax levy is coming in for the 25-26 fiscal year based on the budget that was approved. Will be $5,560,221. That's an increase of 7.94%. The lion's share is that referendum money. So you look on the second page of your packet, you have the levy from last year was $5,151,000. You put 275,000 on that, you're already at 5.4 million. So the largest portion of that levy increase is the $275,000 we're using out of the referendum monies. You can see on the previous page a 10-year history of where the levy has gone and its impact on the mill rate. We had a little bit larger than average property value increase compared to the state. We've had that I would say probably the last 3 years, and it's purely around inflation. There hasn't been a whole lot of new construction. And anything in the TID district won't hit us property value wise for a little while here yet, but any students that might move into there certainly play a huge benefit to the school district. You also have a copy of our revenue limit worksheet in your packet. Look, 2 columns, the left-hand column, about 2/3 of the way down. Our attendance is a 3-year rolling average. And it includes summer school. So we have 715, 719, and 710 students. Then you look into the right column and you see 715. So that's the 3-year rolling average. It's actually down 1 student compared to last year's number. But below that, we get they call it hold harmless or declining enrollment exemption. So however many students we're losing or have a decrease in, we put that number in and we get our per pupil monies for that. So basically, we are held harmless in terms of our revenue limit for student reimbursement.
Does hold harmless work for 1 year?
Yep.
If there's no other clarification questions for Mr. Wainwright, I'll entertain a motion to certify the levy as stated.
I'll make a motion to certify the levy as stated.
I'll second.
Exact amount in the motion. Oh, okay. Any other discussion, questions, comments?
Are we doing any defeasance, and is that incorporated in these numbers?
Yes. Yes, at a future board meeting, we'll have to approve a resolution to defease the money and then have it transferred.
Any other questions or comments?
The mill rate has, the total amount that we're taxing has gone up. The mill rate has gone down over the last 10 years. I understand that that's based on the overall property tax value of our district. Do we have a sense whether that is because there is new and additional development or if that is based on the revaluations throughout different tax districts within our area?
I would say predominantly it is due to properties being reassessed.
Okay.
Properties, what current properties are selling for increases the value of the property. So a lot of our increase in property values comes down to kind of inflationary costs.
Okay.
I built my house for 100,000 and sold it for 400,000. That increase, it's this property tax valuation number.
Okay.
So yes, we're not experiencing the new buildings that bigger districts with more businesses moving in. We're not hitting that number.
Additional questions?
Anything else?
Belding,
Question?
Yes.
Ekstrom,
Yes.
Bush,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Eisner,
Yes.
Costa,
Yes.
John.
Yes. Okay, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned 6:15.
Thanks, Mary.